If you know Jerome Powell, or if you've heard him talk before, you know he's a relatively mild-mannered guy, keeps his head down and does his job. He's now firing back after learning that federal prosecutors have opened an investigation into him over the central bank's renovation of its Washington, D.C. headquarters and whether he allegedly lied to Congress about the scope of that project. Take a listen.
This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Joining us now to discuss is Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is just broken, but I just wanted to get your reaction to this reporting that the president, or his DOJ, is now criminally investigating the Fed chair.
Yes, I mean, that clip that you played was the part that stuck out to me from the Fed chair's statement. He says these are pretexts. What he's really doing is, I am the next person on his political enemies list, and he's going after me because I didn't do what the president wanted. And I think that is incredibly dangerous. And I think what Powell is pointing out is, let's see how the bond markets react to this. The Congress specifically gave the Fed chair the authority and the independence to do what the Fed chair felt was best in the interest of the U.S. economy. And clearly, Donald Trump is now attacking Jerome Powell because he's not doing what Donald Trump wants him to do.
Congresswoman, let me read for you what Republican Senator Thom Tillis, who is not running, we should note, for re-election, he put out a statement condemning this move on X, saying, quote, if there were any remaining doubt whether advisors within the Trump administration are actively pushing to end the independence of the Federal Reserve, there should now be none. It is now the independence and credibility of the Department of Justice that are in question. I will oppose the confirmation of any nominee for the Fed, including the upcoming Fed chair vacancy, until this legal matter is fully resolved. Do you expect more GOP senators to follow Tillis's lead here, or is he only doing this because he's leaving Congress? I can't say there's been too many profiles of courage on the Republican side.
That's right. But I'm glad he's saying it, and I hope that more do, because, look, this is at the center of every issue that we're talking about with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is using the weight of the federal government to do what Donald Trump wants, not what is in the best interest of the country, not what is in the Constitution, not respecting the separation of powers. And that's what he's doing here. And so Tillis is right. And I sure hope that there are other Republicans in the Senate that say the same thing, and that Republicans in the House and the Senate together try to make it very clear to Donald Trump that there are limits beyond his own morality. There are real limits in the Constitution, and we, Congress, have to continue to step up and enforce them. Otherwise, Donald Trump is just going to continue to do things that are far beyond even the average person's imagination.